Hi guys, I'm Izzy and I'm an animal care assistant here at Raystede in the Found and Small Animals department. Our chickens come into the centre for a variety of reasons, including people who can't keep them as pets anymore because they might be moving house, they might have misunderstood their needs and found that they can't give them the best care that they can, and we have our ex-commercial farm drops amongst other reasons. So as you can see here, our chickens, we take care of them in a number of ways. We worm them every 3 months, we mite them monthly, we health check and body score them every other week to get an idea of their health. So the first thing that I would do if I was doing a health check, before I'd even touch the hen, I know I've got Mrs. Slocombe here, would be I would be behaviourally observing them, and I can tell here that all of my chickens are quite happy and healthy because they're all joining in. If there was a bird that was hiding off in the corner and didn't feel confident to come over, she might be not feeling her best. So I can see here that all of my hens are happy and confident enough to join in and come and start. So I'll use Mrs. Slocombe here, and we'll start from the top to the bottom. I would start at the very top, so let's have a look. So Mrs. Slocombe's beak there is lovely and even, it's not jagged, it's not sharp, it meets together nicely. Her eyes are nice and bright, nothing swollen, no discharge, no change in her pupils or damage or anything like that. Her comb and her wattle are nice and red there, so I can tell there's lots of lovely blood going through there, and she's warm, which again, nice blood flow there. Okay, and I might look in here. These are actually chicken earlobes. Don't know if you can see there. She's like, don't touch them. There we go. So I would just look in there and check again that there was no discharge or no parasites or anything. And then, see if she'll let me do it. Come here, darling. I would just look in her mouth and just check again that her breath didn't smell, or she had no plaques or anything that might be a sign of an infection or anything like that, and that's a good indication. If she had really bad smelly breath, she might have something like sauerkraut or thrush, but she hasn't, so she's all good. And then I'd move down and I'd feel her crop here, and she's actually got nothing in there at the moment, but if it was really hard and it wasn't moving around under my fingers, she might have impacted crop, or if it was smushy and her breath smelled, then she might have sauerkraut. But I can tell she's digested all her food today. I know, darling. And then I'll move down to her keel bone here, and I'd just have a nice squeeze of this muscle around here to check her body score. And I'd say on the body score chart, the muscle I'm feeling, she's about a 2 or 2.5, which is good. It's just under optimum condition, but hybrids can tend to drop weight as they get older, but she's good. There we go, so I'll move along. I can see that all of her feathers are in really nice condition. She's grown those back after her molt. These are just starting to come off and they'll grow back again. And then I would look through her feathers. I can see here she's been dust bathing, which again is really good because it's showing normal behaviour and she's healthy and happy to do that. This is her pruning gland here, and that looks nice and normal. So this creates oil that the chickens wipe over their feathers to keep in good condition. If it was swollen or blocked or had discharge, there would be something wrong with it there, but that looks lovely. I would stretch out her wings, and if there was anything that felt odd or she made any sign of discomfort, she might be injured there, but I can tell she's happy for me to do that, so that's all good. And then again, I'd look underneath and just check that there were no parasites there at all in her feathers around the warm bits. That's all good. I'd move down to her legs. Her leg scales are all nice and smooth. There's no injury there. If the scales were raised, that would be an indication that she had scaly leg mite, but they're lovely and smooth and they all flow together, so that's absolutely great. I would look at her toenails and check that they weren't too long. If they were too long and she was kept in really dirty conditions, she might get something called toe balls, but that's good. They're all a nice length. I know when she came in, this one was missing and it's growing back there, which is why this toe is a bit swollen, but it's good that it's growing back. She hasn't got any bumblefoot on her feet, which would mean maybe she'd had something that would pierce her foot and create an infection in her foot. Her feet are great there. And then I turn her around, her feather's lovely again. And I know this is the icky bit. I would look at her cloaca and I can tell there's no discharge, there's not lots of poo, so her diet is good. If her diet was maybe a bit off and she was getting lots of sticky poo around her bottom, we might need to think about what was the wrong there. Or again, if she had something like thrush and it was really smelly, I'd be able to tell that. But I can tell it's nice and clean. And again, I'd look for things like mites, because they love to be around the bottom end of chickens because that's where all the heat is. And again, if she had lots of poo there, the mites like to hide under the poo and lay their eggs because it's really good shelter for them. But again, she's lovely and clean there. And then lastly, if you wanted a good, again, indication of how your chicken was doing throughout the year, it's a good idea to keep track of their weight, because that will tell you again if they're maybe losing weight during molting season or they're gaining weight during the summer when they're eating more. It's good to just keep things like that on record. But you're a good girl and you're happy.